It's my job as a loving wife to take care of my husband's needs, just as it's his job to look after mine. Until death do us part. That's what we promised in our vows. And yet, most of the pressure to perform well in marriage these days seems to land on men. In the 50s, we'd expect our bills to be paid, a roof over our heads, and to be treated with decency by a man of integrity. But times have changed, and we want more: emotional intelligence, presence, attentiveness, romance, vulnerability, sensitivity to our moods, to be more like us when it suits us. This is all good stuff that creates deeper trust and a more intimate bond. And I have no problem telling my husband about any of my needs or desires. I quite like being treated like a princess from time to time, if I'm honest. However, what our modern feminized culture has missed is that if you want the best of man, you'd be wise to give the best of woman. Hi, I'm Laura, a relationship therapist and coach. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Before we continue, a quick disclaimer. This video is for marriages that have become mundane or cold, not abusive or coercive. If yours is genuinely unsafe, none of this advice applies. I, for one, want my husband firing on all cylinders. I don't want him limping through life feeling anything other than celebrated and adored. This is the man I married, had a child with, and will grow old with. Why would I want anything less for him? If I want my husband firing on all cylinders, then the fuel I put in his tank matters. This whole modern attitude of, it's not my job, why should I don't owe him anything, is pure poison to marriage. Now, nobody should be sucking on their partner like a gigantic boob, expecting them to make everything okay. You must develop your own strength. But that's only half the story. We're not snakes, we're not sharks, we're mammals with mammalian brains. It's nurturing, it's breastfeeding, it's closeness, it's social bonds. We don't develop properly without it, and we don't function long-term without it either. I can't seduce myself. I can't date myself. I can't make myself feel chosen. Think about how it feels to have somebody really listening to you, truly interested in you. It tops you up. It's the roots of feeling secure, knowing that somebody cares. You can't do that for yourself. Children can't do it for themselves either. Neither can your husband. Part of your job as a wife is to give that to him, just as part of his job is to give that to you. It's a two-way street, but someone has to start. So ladies, if your marriage has become stale or cold, here's my advice if you'd like to warm it up. You may not be able to go from cold to hot overnight. That requires reciprocity. But the research on this is clear. Generosity creates gratitude, and gratitude fosters reciprocity, an upward spiral that can be initiated by one person, by you. Welcome to Good Wife Club. Good Wife Club is about generosity, and the first rule of Good Wife Club is your generosity must come with an internal green light. True generosity isn't, I don't want to, but I will anyway. It's I want to, here I am, for you, for me, and for us. That's your green light. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. A little fake it till you make it is fine, but forcing yourself through a full body no is something else. That's self-betrayal, and it doesn't work, so don't do that. The aim is to thaw, then warm, then add the real heat, as quickly as we healthily can without betraying ourselves. So here are 3 homework assignments. The current temperature of your marriage will tell you where to start. Assignment 1, Thaw, mood and positivity. The first one is more common than you'd think. People start to take each other for granted. They'll talk to their spouse like shit, then answer the door to the delivery driver all bouncy and bubbly. We almost forget our spouses are human beings that deserve common decency. It's like watching bickering kids in session sometimes, erasing each other piece by piece. It's so habitual they don't even know they're doing it. So the first thing to look at is your speech, your tone, and your manners. Is it warm and engaging, or is it by default cold, dismissive, or rude? Ask yourself, would you talk to anyone else that way? Make him feel welcome in his own home. Watch how you interact with him. Watch how you respond when he speaks. Spend less time focusing on his faults and more on becoming his ally. This means speak kindly. Tell him when you notice something good. Be warm on purpose. I started doing this years ago after a moment of clarity. I noticed I was spending too much time thinking bad things about my husband. My inner monologue about him was critical by default. So I decided to catch the thoughts, consider their impact on us both, and correct them. When I changed, the whole dynamic between us shifted. Assignment 2, warm. Priority and physical touch. Men like to be touched. They just do. The need for physical touch isn't something that expires at a certain age. It's part of our attachment system, and it's healthy to want that. I hear this all the time. Men who say they just want to be held or touched, and women who say they're too tired, too stressed, or too busy. But the truth is, your husband has to be top priority. He can't be the person who gets what's left of you after work, the kids, family, friends, the gym, the dog, and your phone. Too many women insist the kids come first. I get it, the kids are demanding. The list is endless and you can't not look after your kids. But no, they don't come first. Not really. The most powerful gift you can give your children is parents who love each other. Couples who prioritize their marriage cope better, not worse. They have more to give the children, not less. And you'll have a lot of life to live after the kids have gone. And don't just tell him, show him. Words are cheap to men. They want evidence. So show him he's a priority amid all the errands and pressures with small physical acts. Often. Touch is the proof. It's how he knows you're on his team, and it doesn't take a single minute away from anything else you're doing. So if there's little or no physical connection in your marriage, start with something, anything, a hand on his shoulder, a hug at the door, your arms around his waist. Sit closer than you have been. Touch him when you pass him in the kitchen. I've learned over the years that when my husband brings me a coffee, a hand on his thigh says thank you better than words ever could. It's the little things that create the warmth. Assignment 3, heat. Sexual generosity. This one is the big one, the elephant in the room. Marriage doesn't work without sex. It just doesn't. Sex with your husband needs to be lifelong, frequent, and positive. That's a healthy goal for any functional marriage. What I see week after week is wives saying, I'm too tired, too menopausal, too stressed, too touched out. Underneath it is often a fear that if they give a little, he'll want more. So they give nothing, or they give the bare minimum on a schedule with size. A good man doesn't want sex like that at all. What he actually wants is a wife who enjoys sex for herself and with him. That's the whole thing. So if sex has been a problem in your marriage, make a decision for it not to be a problem. That's going to involve work, maybe on yourself or maybe as a couple, but it's essential work worth doing. Ask yourself, where are you sexually? Have you got some old hang-ups that need addressing? What are you offering? And how could you offer more? You can always do more than you're doing, always. Start small if that feels right. Show him he's desired. Reach for him in bed. Be the one who initiates without him having to ask. And if you're feeling particularly brave, try this. Find your husband wherever he is, walk up to him casually and ask him if he'd like a blowjob. You want to see your man transformed? Trust me on this one. I still find pushing myself in this direction a challenge. There's confidence issues, long-standing body image issues, and basic shyness and vulnerability, all of which I'm still working on, but I never regret pushing, and the results speak for themselves. If the thought of this makes you recoil, then consider this. When did we decide that wanting a candlelit dinner is romance, but offering your husband a blowjob is a scandal? It's ridiculous. They're both gifts, both acts of love. So, if there's a struggle around any of this, it's worth investigating. What's the resistance? Is it in you or is it in the marriage? For all of this, from thaw to heat, you have to move from I don't want to it doesn't feel hard because I love him and I want the best for him. That's the journey to real generosity, a spirit of goodwill rather than the ill will, which is the road to hell. If you don't like your husband enough to want to go near him, to speak kindly to him, to touch him or please him, then please get help because, and there's no easy way to say this, you're in a failing marriage. In a healthy marriage, a husband and wife mostly feel positive about each other. If the balance is tipped the other way and most of what you feel is negative, you, your husband, and your children are in trouble. The wisest thing you can do at that point is stop focusing on what he should be doing. Start considering, honestly, who you are in the marriage, what you're offering, and take responsibility for warming it up yourself. If, however, all of this feels like a relief, like a path forward, like something you can get on with today, then half the battle is already won. All we're talking about here is generosity. Generosity and a decision to be as great a version of yourself as you can in your marriage. The same generosity you extended during the first couple of years you were together. Return to it and your marriage will go to astronomically cool places. Or you can spend your life doing the opposite, feeling sorry for yourself, complaining about why your marriage is as miserable as it is while contributing nothing positive to it yourself. But what you'll create is something that resembles hell. Make it a project. Project Good Wife Club. Becoming a great wife is meaningful and satisfying, like getting good at anything worth doing. It's good for your self-esteem to be a great spouse. Not arguing all the time is fantastic. Feeling like you're making your spouse happy is far better than not. And if you're a husband watching this, the exact same philosophy applies. You want the honeymoon version of her, then give her the honeymoon version of you. Try it for a month. If your marriage doesn't improve, then at least you know you're not the problem and you can drag your spouse to therapy. Speaking of which, if you do find you need some professional support, you can reach out to me or my team at laurahowe.com and we'll be happy to help. If you found this video helpful, you might also enjoy this one where I talk about what wife material really is. Let me know what you think in the comments and please do subscribe if you enjoy these conversations. I'll see you next week. In the meantime, to yourselves and to others, tell the truth.